with Jeff Angelo, who's providing us analysis on the Republican side of things, especially since we're getting more numbers in. What are you seeing? What are you taking away from where we are at so far this evening on the caucus?
Well, I think we're about to see a bunch of numbers come flooding in, Elias, because friends of mine that were at caucuses tonight are starting to text me with what they saw at the caucus, which means that the caucuses have wrapped up. And of course, the Republican Party of Iowa, they're getting numbers in through an app. And so we're going to see some rather interesting numbers start pouring in, I think, pretty soon. Again, the question for Donald Trump tonight is, can he get over 50% of the Iowa vote? I think then he declares that his nomination will be inevitable. According to my friends that were at caucuses tonight, though, the race for second place is really, really interesting because I have a number of friends. They're telling me what precinct they were caucusing at. Haley did well in some precincts. DeSantis did well in some other precincts. I still think that's up for grab. And obviously, as you folks are reporting tonight, it's all about the narrative. When you come out of Iowa, already have the DeSantis people, as you were reporting, preemptively charging election interference because the projections by the networks came in so quickly. That's a harder case to make than if it were a general election, because people were already through the door and they were already voting when the networks were projecting who the winner was. And of course, a lot of people are not staring at their phone in the caucuses. And so I don't know that you can make the case that that really affected the vote tonight. But that's a great example of how these campaigns are carefully crafting a narrative when the media comes at them tonight to talk about what the final result was.
Jeff, do you see any problems with that as far as general voters that are there before they can even vote? Any issues that you see with that? I know that you said it's not going to change their minds, but is it just a little too presumptuous, a little too aggressive, you think, even though we know what the result's going to be as far as who's going to win this thing? But do you think there's a need to let's just back off, let's just let the process play out first?
I do, Elias. I don't like it. I'm sure most of your viewers don't like it, but I don't know how we change it because each national media outlet wants to be first. That's just a thing that they do. And it's a free speech country. You know, we really can't do anything about media outlets jumping to be first to report that somebody has won the Iowa caucus. It's less concerning to me in a caucus situation because it's 7 o'clock. The doors were already closed. People were already there. They were already starting to vote. I think most people had made up their mind by the time they sat down at the table. It's more concerning in a general election situation where people had not gotten off of work yet or were standing in line to vote, and all the projections come in and they tell you that the race is over. So I don't think it's as a big a factor in a caucus situation as it is when we're seeing a general election where the projections come in and you're a campaign and you're really worried that it's dampening your vote.
Yeah, it is the day of being first, or you feel like you're in last. Jeff Angelo, thank you very much for your perspective.